All right, what's up? It's the Daytona wheels review time. I've been wanting to do this for a little while. I've been using these for about maybe like 2 months almost, but I feel like I have been riding these enough to equip myself with the knowledge and the experience to kind of give a pretty accurate explanation of like how I feel about these. Because at first I wasn't really into them, only because of how wiggly they felt right out of the box. Like as soon as I got them, the bearing lock or whatever it is that's around, like to keep this wheel around the bearing, is incredibly loose. Like it just wiggles and wiggles, like worse than any other wheel like that I've had like months of use on. I've felt like China wheels that are more solid than these, which are like around $6, $7. And like it even made me like subconsciously I would feel more cautious about doing certain tricks, like doing slappies with these. Kind of makes me nervous because I'm just basically running into this curb, and how much these wiggle, it makes me feel like I'm just gonna break them, because of how much give there is. So that was really concerning at first when I first got it. But I also understand that like when I bought these, I think on the Catfish Barbecue story it said something about there being like one more improvement and then they'll be like almost perfect. So I hope whatever comes next takes care of the whole wiggle issue. Just like, despite these being $30, it still is like kind of weird that they would wiggle like that, especially when you compare them to Pyros. So a good comparison would be a wheel like this, right? Like same, I think a little smaller maybe with 7.5 millimeters, but same kind of boxiness with these. They're a little wider on the surface area. These are $35, so they're only $5 more than the Piro wheels. They are urethane, but Piro makes some of the most solid wheels I've ever used. Like they are incredibly solid, almost zero bearing movement. Like those are solid around the bearing for sure. So it is kind of one of those things where it might be priced around hype as well, because I know these sell out every single time they drop. So it is interesting to me to compare these wheels with only a $5 price difference. You'd think the Daytonas would be a little bit more quality, but I don't know. That's just some food for thought. If you're a type of person that likes oaks, likes labs, and you need your wheels to feel super solid, then these are definitely not the wheels for you. They are incredibly wiggly, but despite that, with the negative out of the way, these feel incredibly smooth. On par with like brand new labs, or even like good dual durometers, like flat face dual durometers. They're an open shield kind of design, so when they spin, they also spin for days. When they spin, you can kind of like hear the bearings. Yeah, these are incredibly smooth. They are plastic, so if you are a urethane guy, again, these are probably not going to be the ones for you. I personally don't really prefer one over the other. I can use plastic or urethane pretty well. I'm not too picky about that. These are kind of they're plastic, but they don't like slide around too easily, at least on the surfaces that I use. I've been using granite countertops. They grip pretty well, so you're not going to feel all squirrely with these. So if you're a urethane guy and you are interested in these, that is kind of a similarity to urethane wheels, where they do kind of stick a little bit, but not anything like oaks. It's like a nice in between. I think part of why they grip like that is the surface area is pretty wide. You can kind of see they're kind of square, so there's more surface area for the wheel to catch onto the ground, which is a nice feeling for sure. I believe these are 8 millimeters, so they're kind of like rivaling the whole G4 kind of thing. Despite having the wiggle problem, for $30, these are a very good choice, I would say. If you need wheels and you're not wanting to spend like $60 on some Joy Colts or some Labs, this is a great option. Do I think they're the best wheels that you can buy? Definitely not. But do I think they're a good set of wheels to kind of, maybe mess around with, not have to worry too much about spending money? Definitely. These are a really good bang for your buck kind of wheel, especially with the kind of performance that they give. So I know based on earlier in the video when I was talking about Piro, that it sounded like I was going to tell you to just buy Pyros instead of Daytonas, but I still think Daytonas are worth the 30 and worth buying over Pyros, because Daytonas are way smoother than Pyros. When I say solid, like when I say a wheel is more solid, I really mean just how robust it is and how, like, the quality of the bearing lock and how much they wiggle. But the performance, like, Daytonas are so much smoother than Pyros. So, and it is only $5, but it still is $5 less than Pyros. So yeah, I've had no problems with the bearings themselves. Like, there's been no clicks, no, like, I don't think I've had any issues with dust. I mean, over time, any bearing wheel is gonna like spin less and less, but they still spin pretty well. Yeah, so for $30, I feel like you're gonna get a decent wheel, but just know that you're not gonna get as much quality as like Lab wheels or Oak wheels or like Pyros. I think the Daytonas are just fine. They don't blow you away, but I think they're great for what they are. So yeah, that has been my review.
Hawk 3